Have you ever spent a day shopping, going to different boutiques, or maybe you're hopping to different vintage stores and you're just looking for the perfect piece that's going to make your wardrobe feel complete? And you end up finding some stuff and maybe you go home with one or two pieces. These are pieces that they're more interesting. Maybe there's something that is on trend or something you saw online on maybe an influencer you were watching, or maybe it's a piece that is in your favorite color or has an interesting silhouette. But then when you bring it home, you realize that this piece doesn't really work with anything else in your closet. It ends up sitting in your wardrobe for weeks or months and you feel guilty decluttering it. Part of what might be happening is you didn't buy it because it was something that truly reflected your personal style. Maybe it was something you had seen somewhere or something you got excited about because it was in your favorite color. But when you brought it home and you tried to put it on and you tried to make outfits with it, it just never felt like you. Today's video is going to share why that might be happening, and more importantly, this is part of a series that is helping you really figure out your personal style by the pieces that you bring into your closet. Because when your pieces reflect your style, it's going to be a lot easier to make outfits with them and to have them feel like you when you're going to wear them. So today's video focuses on eclectic versus edgy versus trendy style. What are these personal style types and what's the difference? And how do we spot them when we're out shopping so that we make sure when we're bringing something into our wardrobe, it's going to be a piece not only that we love, but that we know how to wear. As a personal stylist, one of the things that I see all the time in wardrobes are pieces that are interesting or bold colors or on trend, but they're just sitting there and the client doesn't wear those pieces and she never reaches for them and they just sit there and she doesn't know why. And this happened just this past weekend. I was with a client and we did her closet edit and she had this one statement jacket. It was this bold green, boxy silhouette. It felt very menswear inspired. But when we really figured out her personal style was romantic and a little vintage and eclectic. There was no part of it that felt bold or trendy or menswear inspired. So we were able to kind of look at this piece and it was easier for her to see why she hadn't been reaching for it, why she hadn't worn it. It wasn't just that it was a bold color, but it also didn't work with her personal style. So typically when we're talking about edgy, trendy, and eclectic style types, you're talking about pieces that tend to stand out more. They're not your classic streamlined silhouette pieces. They're not just fun, easy pieces, but they're more pieces that they're meant to make a statement. So whether it's something like a leather jacket when you're thinking about the edgy style type, or maybe it's a bold blouse in a bright color with an interesting silhouette, that might be more of a trendy style type, or maybe it's something more like this amazing vintage piece that you found in this shop that they don't make anymore and it's this interesting color and it's this really cool fabric and print, but they're pieces that stand out more. Think of bold shoes. Maybe you like a really heavy black leather moto boot, or somebody with trendy style might like something that has a really thick sole or something that's a shoe of the moment. And then someone with eclectic vintage style is going to be drawn to a more vintage feel of a shoe. Maybe it's something in a color that was from the 70s, something that they found in a vintage store. You might also see things like statement tops and dresses for these three style types, or accessories that stand out. But there's also a lot of differences. So even though generally these three style types like things that feel a little bit more bold, a little bit more adventurous or unique, there are things that really define each one and make them different. So when you're thinking about an edgy style type, you might see things in a darker color palette. There's a lot of black, there's a lot of leather. So the fabric choices tend to be different. There's pieces that have a more of a structured silhouette that just feels a little bit tougher, where someone that really identifies with the trendy style type, they're gonna think more of the colors that are of the season. What are the hottest colors that are going on right now? And the silhouettes that are on trend. What are we seeing on the runways? What are we seeing in stores? That's what's gonna reflect more of their style. It's gonna be of the moment, and that's gonna feel more trendy. Whereas someone with eclectic or vintage style, they're going to be drawn to things that feel unique and from a different time period. So they're going to be going to vintage shops or looking online at vintage stores and looking for those unique, interesting pieces. The colors are going to be different. They're going to be colors from usually a different time period or something that feels more unique, not your typical neutral colors, not your blacks. Their color palette is going to be more interesting and unique than someone with edgy style or trendy style. And then also the silhouettes that somebody with eclectic or vintage style is going to be drawn to are also going to look different. They're going to be drawn to more silhouettes from a different time period or something that feels more unique and interesting than of the moment. So you want to think about these three style types. There's a difference in the overall feel and aesthetic of each one. If you're looking at someone's closet who identifies mostly with the edgy style type, you might see things like a lot of black colors, maybe a lot of leather pieces, some moto jackets. You might see heavy black boots or shoes that feel a little bit rougher and in darker tones. You might see things like graphic tees or pieces that have details like metal hardware. Maybe they're studs or zippers or some asymmetry in the silhouettes of the pieces. Those are some things that are pretty common in someone that really enjoys edgy style. The overall feeling is strong, confident, and bold. And the goal of someone that identifies with the edgy style type might be to have their wardrobe express individuality, boldness, strength, independence. Those are the overall aesthetics of someone with edgy style. Somebody with trendy style is current and fashion forward. Their goal is to have a wardrobe that reflects the current styles, the current silhouettes, the colors that are out there right now, things that are of the moment. So it's not about creating a timeless wardrobe like someone you might see in a classic style type. It's more about having pieces that feel fashion forward and of the moment. So somebody with trendy style might really enjoy wearing something with puffy sleeves or oversized fits or cropped tops. These are all things that we're seeing that are on trend right now. And somebody that really loves this style is probably going to have pieces like that in their wardrobe. Their choice of jean is going to focus more on the silhouette that's on trend. Maybe it's going to be a barrel leg or a wide leg jean for them. Also, what are the statement bags that are tied to the season? The colors and the prints. Those are the pieces that they're going to be drawn to and gravitate towards. The goal for someone with a trendy style type is going to be focusing more on the trends and what's fashion forward and having pieces that are current in their closet. So they're going to tend to cycle through pieces more regularly than most of the other style types. When we're talking about eclectic or vintage style, it's about curating pieces with personality. They're not looking for the latest trends or what's on the rack. They're looking for pieces that feel unique, that feel personal, that tell a story. Maybe it's pieces that have different textures or pieces that have unique details from different time periods, statement pieces that not like necessarily a statement in a color, but maybe it's a statement piece in the silhouette or something that was worn from a different time period. And the way it's mixed together in an outfit feels unique and like it's telling more of a story than just putting an outfit together. The eclectic vintage style, it's more about expression and individuality. It's thoughtful layering. It's more of a mix and match aesthetic to find the uniqueness in a piece or an outfit. The eclectic style type sometimes can get confused with other style types because it does borrow some elements from the romantic style type, the bohemian style type, and even the trendy style type, depending on the pieces or silhouettes that are trending or of the moment. But there are key differences. The eclectic style type, they're pieces that have been curated over time. You might see someone with this style and look at their wardrobe and it looks more like a collection of pieces. It's also pieces that are different textures or from different time periods. And then the way the pieces are styled, it's layered creatively, it's unique. It's not necessarily everything needs to match or go together. If you identify with this style type, your wardrobe likely reflects more about who you are rather than the pieces that are trending or what's on a checklist. Some examples of eclectic or vintage pieces are dresses from the 70s or a leather jacket from a different time period. So it's not a leather jacket that we might see in an edgy style. That's a black leather moto jacket, but maybe it's a leather jacket in a color from a different time period and in a silhouette from a different time period. Or you might see retro shoes or some interesting pattern that was again from a different time period. You might see something like blazers from the 80s. You might see things like midi skirts with interesting prints, or sweaters with unique texture or a color that you don't really see in present day. And then it's the overall look of someone with this style that they create interesting layers. Maybe they have unique accessories, bags from a different time period that have a different color or silhouette, or interesting retro shoes. Maybe they're gonna wear an 80s blazer over a more modern blouse. It's the way these pieces are then all put together that create this overall feel. If the goal is to have a wardrobe that makes it easy to put together outfits that feel like you, that everything in your closet is something you love or at least like, and that you know how to style, then the first step in that is knowing what your unique personal style is. What do you identify with? What reflects who you are at this stage in your life? And then the next step is figuring out the pieces that reflect your style. So looking at individual pieces and deciding, even if it's just a basic white t-shirt, does this white t-shirt feel like an edgy white t-shirt? By the silhouette, by the collar? Maybe it has an interesting detail about it that makes it feel more edgy. Is it oversized or cropped and more trendy? Or does it feel like it's a fabric that was from a different time period, even though it's still a white t-shirt and it feels more eclectic? These are the things that are going to start to help you build a wardrobe that's going to reflect you and your personal style. Paying attention to the qualities that make each piece you bring into your closet, what makes it your style? Because if it doesn't work with your style, if it doesn't feel like you, it's not going to be something you're going to reach for. So instead of asking, do I like this piece? Ask yourself, does it reflect my personal style? Because if it doesn't reflect your personal style, the chances are you're not going to reach for it. If this conversation resonated with you and you're ready to build an intentional wardrobe that reflects your unique personal style, make sure that you're signed up for my email newsletter. I'm going to be announcing something soon that you might be interested in. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which of these style types you resonate with more, and let me know if you had any moments throughout watching this that brought you some clarity. So thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and I will see you guys next Thursday.